Welcome to the 2022 Santa Clara County State of Education themed Together We Can. My name is Damian Trujillo, and aside from being a news reporter at NBC Bay Area for 25 years, I'm also the producer and host of Comunidad del Valle. I'm also the parent of students right here in Santa Clara County. Now, joining us today will be Santa Clara County Board of Education President Peter Ortiz, the 2020-21 Santa Clara County Youth Poet Laureate Anouk Ye, our County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Marianne Dewan, and the Prospect High School Choir and Music Program. As the landscape around us continues to evolve with the COVID-19 pandemic, we will hear how the students of Santa Clara County are faring and how together we as a community can lift up the youth of our county. Please note that today's address has language support available. On your screen, you can select the closed caption button for English, or you select your language preference by following the instructions that are now displayed on the screen. Before we listen to the State of Education address, I invite you to please stand for our national anthem today, presented by the Mountain View High School Madrigals under the direction of Jill Denny.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I would like to thank the Santa Clara County Board of Education for their partnership, leadership, and advocacy on behalf of all students in Santa Clara County. Victoria Chan, Joseph DeSalvo, Rosemary Kamei, Grace Ma, Peter Ortiz, Claudia Rossi, and Tara Srikrishnan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2022 Santa Clara County Office of Education, State of Education. My name is Peter Ortiz, and I'm president of the Santa Clara County Board of Education. Santa Clara County Office of Education is committed to improving student equity and access to high-quality education. Our shared priorities include improving student wellness, environmental education, career technical education, and STEM pathways, expanding early learning, digital equity, and advocating for increased funding for public education. I would like to take this opportunity to thank not only the staff of the County Office of Education for their time, talents, and dedication to students, families, and communities, but to thank all of the staff members within the educational systems in our great county. It is an enormous responsibility to be a part of shaping a young person, and for that, I thank you. Thank you to the students who put in the hard work. They are the future change makers. Thank you to the families and support systems that continue to be the stewards of young people. Their success is your success. The State of Education will provide an overview of how youth in Santa Clara County are doing and the opportunities that lie ahead. We are stronger together, and together we can ensure Santa Clara County is a community where youth and families thrive. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Santa Clara County Youth Poet Laureate, Anouk Ye. Anouk will be sharing her piece titled Educational Ecosystem Cycle, as told through a list of advanced placement environmental science vocabulary.
Hi, I'm Anouk Ye. I'm a senior at Saratoga High School, and I'm the inaugural Santa Clara County Youth Poet Laureate. Educational ecosystem, as told through a list of AP Environmental Science vocabulary. 1. Ecosystem. Definition: a biological community of interacting organisms and their physical environment. To have lived as a student through the past 12 years is to have memorized the parts of an ecosystem, an educational ecosystem, consisting of teachers, students, administrators, and parents, intricately woven around a school campus. An ecosystem consisting of a reliable population of consumers and producers. Consumers: the students who ingest the knowledge in their environment. Producers: the teachers who repackage that knowledge for digestion. To have lived through these past 2 years is to have also witnessed the unraveling of this delicately crafted ecosystem. To have watched natural disaster ravage the ecosystem's heart and wipe it clean of everything it's ever known, reduced to a fumbling, blind state. 2. Primary succession. Definition: in which organisms first colonize a barren, lifeless habitat. After a natural disaster wipes an ecosystem clean of its history, producers are usually the first to venture into the uncharted territory. When the pandemic hit, it was the teachers who first trekked into the unknown virtual terrain, braving tech errors and faulty digital platforms to create a semblance of a home. Slowly, after the land was scoped out, students started trickling back into the ecosystem, working together to try and make sense of the new digital habitat to rebuild a stolen ecosystem until it began to rebloom and restore the balance between consumers, producers, and keystone species. 3. Keystone species. Definition: a species on which other species in an ecosystem largely depend, such that if it were removed, the ecosystem would completely collapse. In a normal ecosystem, the keystone species is not usually a producer. However, in this ecosystem, they're still the teachers, and maybe this is just some contrived metaphor for the versatility of our educators, but who is there more keystone to this ecosystem than our teachers? Teachers who during natural disaster spun curiosity out of the dim glow of lagging Zoom calls and online videos. Teachers who didn't stop teaching even when the sky turned orange, even when our country became engulfed in its own history. Teachers who looked at our burning world and still dared to cradle softness in their hands, still dreamed of transferring light into their students' palms, whispering, "Here is what you need to make this place more beautiful." And for students, what is more magical than a teacher who cares? 4. Biodiversity. Definition: the sum total of all organisms in an area. Generally, the higher amount of biodiversity there is in an ecosystem, the more stable it is. This year, although we have bid our digital classrooms farewell, we continue to trailblaze new, uncharted paths untouched by tradition. Although our new home isn't identical to the one we left behind, it is warm, collaborative, and creative. On campus, the increase of voices and community members stepping up is creating a more stable educational ecosystem, one that can't falter if we work together.
Hello, and welcome to the 2022 Santa Clara County State of Education Address. I'm Dr. Marianne Dewan, your County Superintendent of Schools. There are 4 core principles that drive our shared work: equity, diversity, inclusion, and partnership. I am honored to live, work, and serve such a vibrant and diverse community. Staff goes above and beyond to ensure the success of the nearly 260,000 students in the county, from the fields in South County to the rolling hills of the west and east sides, the Santa Cruz Mountains, and the valleys. The hard work of school employees throughout the county is inspiring, and it does not go unnoticed. Many of our educators, leaders, schools, youth, elected leaders, and programs have received awards for equity-focused efforts, innovation, global thinking, educational successes, and a shared passion for the well-being of children. This work could not have been accomplished without community engagement and strong cross-agency partnerships. These efforts and partnerships demonstrate that we are stronger together. The national honors included schools such as Dr. T.J. Owens Gilroy Early College Academy for its 2021 National Blue Ribbon recognition, and Lynbrook High School for its seniors recognized in the 57th class of the United States Presidential Scholars. A few state recognitions included Los Altos High School for its 2021 California Green Ribbon Schools Award, and Union Middle School for being a California Department of Education 2021 Schools to Watch. Some of the local awards went to schools like Peterson Middle School for its Santa Clara County Public Health Department Vax Up Video Contest winner, and Saratoga High School for its 2020 Santa Clara County History Day honoree, and many more. The Santa Clara County Office of Education remains committed to serving, inspiring, and promoting student and public school success by improving student equity and access to high-quality education, providing quality support to schools, students, and communities, and being a premier service provider. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, schools across Santa Clara County have prioritized the safety and wellness of students, school personnel, and the communities within the county. Much has been learned about the COVID-19 virus and its effects on us as a community and the impact it has had on children and families. COVID continues to impact us, and yet our collective efforts remind us that together we can take action on behalf of our county youth and succeed. Schools remain diligent in their efforts to ensure safe classrooms. It remains critically important to use all proven layers of mitigation, including universal masking, especially wearing a high-quality, well-fitting mask, testing, vaccinations, and boosters for all those who are eligible. As of late January, Santa Clara County reported that over 1.5 million individuals are fully vaccinated. Approximately 83.1% of all eligible residents ages 5 and up. The percent of the booster eligible population who have received a booster lags behind, totaling approximately 61.4% of all county residents. Throughout 2021, the Santa Clara County Office of Education, with support from the Santa Clara County Public Health Department, the California Department of Public Health, the State of California, Safeway Pharmacies, ACI, and other local partners, have administered over 42,000 vaccinations to educators, students, and their families. The Santa Clara County Office of Education also provides COVID testing, one of the layered risk mitigation strategies, to all staff and their direct family members nearly every day of the week, and hosts testing for the community as well. In October 2021, we saw an average of 200 tests per week, surpassing over 76,000 total tests over time. Our dedicated team distributed at-home test kits for schools in December, and with the growing availability of rapid antigen tests at school sites, the number of distributed tests is expected to increase in 2022. The pandemic has exacted a toll on all of us, our systems, and our communities. There is hope and promise in our collective response, our resilience and persistence. While there have been and will continue to be challenges and difficulties from the pandemic, we never lost sight of our priorities and our commitments to public education, our democracy, and our role to serve our children and communities. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated long-standing health issues affecting children and their families and illuminated ways we can address them with investments in the well-being of children. The United States Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, issued an advisory in December calling for a whole-of-society effort to mitigate the mental health impacts of the pandemic, to address long-standing challenges, and to prevent future mental health challenges. Health and education cannot be separated. In partnership with schools, community partners, and state legislation, funds for staffing and services to support on-campus mental and physical well-being of students has expanded. This expansion is urgently needed. Hospitals across the United States saw a 31% increase in emergency mental health visits by adolescents ages 12 to 17, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Santa Clara County experienced a 227% increase in calls to the California Youth Crisis Hotline. Diagnoses of major depressive disorders increased by 84%. Intentional self-harm among 13 to 18-year-olds increased by 91%, and substance abuse and overdoses increased by 95%. A child's environment can have a direct impact on their physical and mental health. Children who live in poverty, have food insecurity, housing instability, or low-quality housing, or live in areas with neighborhood crime and violence have worse health outcomes than their peers because of the number of adverse events they face at an early age and throughout their childhood development. Other societal factors also impact a student's mental health and well-being. According to a recent report by the Mental Health Oversight Accountability Commission, student groups such as Muslim students, students of color, and most recently, Asian Pacific Islander students have expressed that bullying and discrimination impacted their overall well-being. The National Survey on LGBTQ Youth Mental Health, conducted by the Trevor Project, shows that more than 1/4 of LGBTQ youth who noted that they did not have at least one accepting adult in their life reported attempting suicide in the past year. Conversely, LGBTQ youth who report having at least one accepting adult were 40% less likely to report a suicide attempt in the past year. In California, LGBTQ+ students are 3 times more likely to report suicidal ideation and 2 times more likely to report depression. As an innovative, reliable, and supportive LGBTQ+ partner, the Santa Clara County Office of Education supports schools and builds educator capacity to ensure welcoming and inclusive classrooms and campuses for LGBTQ+ youth. Our website shares information about laws and policies that protect our LGBTQ+ youth, instructional resources, and crisis support lines. Our free guide for educators, parents, caregivers, youth, and communities is a comprehensive resource prepared in collaboration with our county partners from the Office of LGBTQ Affairs, Q Corner, and LGBTQ Youth Space. As a partner with the Los Angeles LGBT Center's National Out for Safe Schools campaign, the Santa Clara County Office of Education offers resources for school staff to publicly identify as supportive LGBTQ allies, letting youth know that safe spaces exist everywhere, not just in the classroom. Recognizing the needs, the Santa Clara County Office of Education has worked with legislators to lead initiatives to secure funding and put policies in place to address the mental well-being of our students. The Santa Clara County Office of Education Youth Advisory Group, which consists of students across Santa Clara County with diverse backgrounds and identities, informed the creation of wellness centers on school campuses across the county. With their voice and leadership, the Wellness Center model is designed to meet the needs of students. These 11 wellness centers are located on school campuses and are staffed with both county office and district staff. Students are 21 times more likely to access mental health services when they are readily available on campus. Thus, the intent to increase mental health prevention, early intervention, and direct service opportunities for students and families without the barriers of transportation and other stressors that are often placed on the family unit. The Youth Advisory Group participated in legislative advocacy conversations, and their ideas contributed to the content of op-eds and convenings on topics such as the importance of creating structured time and space for education on mental health and self-care, and providing equitable access to free mental health services on campus. The language from the Santa Clara County Office of Education co-sponsored Bill 508 was incorporated into the Budget Bill of 2021. Health plans are required to collaborate with schools to provide mental health services to students on school campuses. It also makes services more accessible by expanding the network of school-based mental health practitioners and the use of telehealth. When fully implemented, all students, regardless of their background or health insurance provider, will have access to mental health resources that are integrated into a school campus and culture. To combat social isolation, in the 2021-22 state budget, the California Department of Education offered $2 million in grants to community-based organizations partnering with schools to provide programs helping students build healthy social connections. Expanded and sustained investments in culturally relevant, school-based mental health and wellness services and instructional practices are needed to combat the youth mental health crisis and contribute to the overall health and well-being of students, both physically and academically. Without a structured routine for physical activity, such as physical education classes or after-school sports activities, pediatricians report unhealthy weight gain in children. About 1 in 3 children in the United States are overweight or obese. Accelerated weight gain in children who are overweight or obese can lead to long-lasting changes that put them at risk for type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and depression. Access to nutritious meals and food continue to be a challenge for children and families, especially those who relied on school meals. According to Feeding America, 1 in 9 individuals and 1 in 7 children lived in a food insecure household before the pandemic. To ensure children were not going without food, school meals were distributed to families without barriers, and programs such as virtual healthy cooking classes were encouraged. The need for school meals during the pandemic brought about policy at several levels of government, including the passage of universal school meals. In Santa Clara County, Rosemary Elementary and Luther Burbank schools led the local pilot program for universal meals for 2 years. The state has committed $650 million through Proposition 98 funds each year to reimburse school districts starting in 2022. Beginning in the 2022-23 school year, public school districts, county offices of education, and charter schools serving students in grades K-12 are required to provide 2 meals free of charge during each school day to students requesting a meal, regardless of their free or reduced price meal eligibility. To support this effort, funds for kitchen infrastructure improvements and training are available to schools. Keeping students in in-person educational environment remains a top priority. Some students have been missing crucial time from school simply because they either did not have access to or could not afford period products. In March of 2021, the Santa Clara County Office of Education received funds from the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors to expand access to menstrual hygiene products in schools. Schools distribute these free products to students and their families in restrooms, the nurse's office, meal distribution drive-thrus, and wellness events. Moving forward, schools and public agencies will need to make free period products easily accessible. The pandemic disrupted access to routine wellness checks. Without these wellness checks, children went without the support and resources they and their families needed to prevent, maintain, or treat health issues. Wellness checks for children under 5 years old dropped 75% last March nationwide. During this time, childhood vaccinations decreased, and so did testing for lead poisoning. When social emotional learning is incorporated into the classroom and school sites have embedded mental health services available to students, schools see increased academic performance and higher graduation and attendance rates. More mental health resources also positively correlates with fewer suspensions, expulsions, and absences. In our 2021 report addressing chronic absenteeism and increasing access to mental health and wellness services in Santa Clara County, we identified vital factors contributing to chronic absenteeism, including chronic and acute illness, academic struggles, and lack of challenging, culturally responsive instruction. As schools continue to support students during and after this pandemic, we will need to focus on the whole student by making mental health and wellness a natural part of their campus life, by giving them the resources and support they need to be successful. Efforts that help youth develop their social and emotional wellness and establish healthy relationships strengthens the overall health and safety of our entire community. The Governor's January 2022 proposed budget increases investments in schools across California to allow schools to focus on addressing high priorities right now, including the social and emotional needs of students. Growing evidence points to the need for an urgent response to climate change and to expand environmental literacy in all schools. In September 2021, the United States Department of Education released the third version of its Climate Adaptation Plan, which underlined that in 2020, the United States experienced a record-breaking 22 natural disasters that each resulted in at least $1 billion in damages, including a record 7 linked to landfalling hurricanes or tropical storms. Identified in the adaptation plan are agency leads to support educators, students, and parents to understand and adopt ways to combat climate change through the promotion of environmental and sustainability literacy. Through this research, a need for equitable access to healthy, safe, sustainable, resilient 21st century learning environments was also identified. These needs were further highlighted by our partners at the California Regional Environmental Education Community Network, CREEC, who revealed 3 key findings from the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report released in August 2021. Number 1, global warming is unequivocally caused by humans. Number 2, the impacts of the climate crisis are already here and are disproportionately impacting low-income, Black, Indigenous, and communities of color. And 3, temperatures have already increased by over 1 degree Celsius since 1880 and will continue to increase by 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 20 years due to emissions from past decades. As a result of these findings, and stemming from the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference in November 2021, members of the Sustainable and Climate Resilient Schools community, including the California Environmental Literacy Initiative, provided 3 key recommendations. 1, educational leaders need to see themselves as environmental climate leaders. 2, climate leaders need to work with K-12 educators. And 3, education needs a significant funding investment to be sustainable and climate ready. On a local level, youth-focused organizations such as Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action, a youth-led nonprofit that empowers teens and young adults, are leading the way to combat climate change and partner to create impactful education and policy initiatives. The Santa Clara County Office of Education is expanding technical assistance for the development of school gardens and school garden curriculum in schools across our county. Our recent Growing Gardens survey project found that out of 250 schools and programs that participated, in Santa Clara County, 69% of schools have gardens. With the support of Dr. De La Cruz Williams, Professor of Leadership for Sustainability Education at Portland State University, specific needs to continue garden education were identified in the Growing Gardens report. To continue garden education, schools will build partnerships, increase professional development for teachers, and secure new funding resources, and continue the integration of garden lessons with grade-level curriculum. To promote advocacy around climate change and to build more equitable systems and economic stability, it is important to encourage youth to take an active role. The Santa Clara County Office of Education Power of Democracy Initiative is designed to do just that, and educators are key to this effort. As high schoolers approach voting age, voter education, voter registration efforts, and other election materials are available to high schools. Career Technical Education, or CTE, classes and pathways for students to explore farm-to-table culinary skills, offering project-based learning that engages students with the problem of inquiry and means to solve the problem at hand, remains a priority at all grade levels. Exploring renewable, sustainable energies and facility upgrades on school campuses is a likely focus of state and federal projects in the coming months and years. Chronic absenteeism continues to be a problem not only for students within Santa Clara County, but within the state of California. Often, absences are tied to health problems such as asthma, diabetes, oral health, and mental health. Other barriers, including transportation, a safe route to school, or food insecurity, make it difficult to go to school every day. Students are not connected to the curriculum and/or classroom because perhaps they don't see themselves reflected culturally. They don't feel connections to campus, and there are commitments outside of school that pull students away. Engaging students at a young age is critical in establishing the habits necessary for school success. 90% of a child's brain develops by age 5, which is why regularly attending early learning programs build strong foundations for success in life and future careers. Currently, California, which has almost 3 million children under the age of 5, trails behind other states in terms of access to early education, with only 37% enrolled in transitional kindergarten and the state's subsidized preschool program. Research shows that children who attend preschool are more likely to take honors classes and less likely to repeat a grade. The pandemic has contributed to declining enrollment countywide in early learning, which puts our youngest students at risk for school success. A Brookings Institution report found that fewer than half of low-income children are kindergarten ready, and many never receive consistent services and support to reach the achievement levels of their peers. To increase enrollment and raise awareness of the importance of regular attendance in early learning programs, the Santa Clara County Office of Education launched the Steps to Success campaign. The campaign aims to break down barriers for families to access early learning and care services by creating a unified platform that facilitates the enrollment process. Through these programs, every child in our county can have access to a strong foundation for success in life and future careers. Together, we can renew our dedication to engaging educational environments for students of all ages. The Inclusion Collaborative's ongoing work to help schools build inclusive and welcoming classrooms has extended to a supplement to the Ways to Equity Playbook, with using the Ways to Equity Playbook spotlight on African American students. This supplement is a deeper dive into specific strategies and tools to elevate student voices and promote equity in classroom settings. The pandemic disrupted traditional state assessment systems and timelines, leaving us without much of the assessment data that is used to determine how students are performing academically on grade level standards. With limited data, our schools are building upon their multi-tiered system of support. Targeted interventions draw a straighter line from classroom education to real-world experience, and critical development of life skills help students make more deliberate choices about post-secondary education and career paths while they remain actively engaged in their education. Such student engagement and participation had a positive impact on our overall county graduation rates. Our 2020-21 cohort graduation rates of 89% is above the state average, and these rates show a 5.9% increase from 2019-20. California schools face a staffing shortage as the nation's baby boomers enter retirement and the generations that follow find it a challenge to remain in the field of education. The pandemic has exacerbated the staffing shortage. As full-time school staff feel the strain of COVID, the substitute pool is shrinking. We have a call to action to build capacity within the education profession, to work with local and state governments to eliminate barriers to entering and sustaining the education workforce, and to ensure that the diversity of school staff reflects the diversity of the student population. To address the ongoing teacher shortage in California, Governor Gavin Newsom recently issued an executive order that eliminates barriers to recruiting and retaining qualified substitutes. Locally, the Santa Clara County Office of Education educator preparation programs are providing innovative ways for future teachers and administrators to enter new careers in education. With the continued expansion of our educators' preparation programs like EPIC and LEAP offered through the County Office of Education, special education teachers and leaders are prepared to enter the profession with support throughout the credentialing process. A virtual Step Into Teaching event on Saturday, February 12, 2022, from 9 to 1 p.m. will be held. The event focuses on helping anyone, including career changers, who may be interested in pursuing a teaching career. Through these collaborative efforts and more, the Santa Clara County Office of Education and Schools are working to address the long-standing issues of teaching and staffing shortages in Santa Clara County schools. If you are interested in working within the education sector as a teacher, substitute, classroom aide, school nurse, or more, please visit the Santa Clara County Office of Education website. While great strides have been made towards closing the digital divide, inequities related to reliable broadband internet access for our students and families still persist. In partnership with local governments, work continues to be done towards the advocacy of the Middle Mile Network, an infrastructure that would allow for connectivity in areas that have previously struggled with access. Closing the digital divide is critical in ensuring student equity and access to learning resources and enrichment, school and community information, telehealth, social interactions, and so much more. Our iSTEAM team works with our district partners to increase the levels of engagement through integration, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. We are committed to helping our educators move at the same pace their students are and transitioning from consumers of technology to being producers. When students are equipped with every tool to help them succeed, there's no limit to what they can achieve to help uplift their communities. Collectively, we have proven we are stronger together. And I know that together, as a community, we can ensure our children have all that they need to be healthy and successful in learning and in life. Thank you. Be well.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled goodness in your hair, golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. The day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled goodness in your hair, golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Just like me, close to you. Close to